Hello, and welcome to the podcast. Falcon Paladin, it's good to have you back.
Thank you, Sir Somicron. It is always good to be back. Good to be here for another edition of the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Hmm.
It's we just did a podcast like 3 or 4 days ago, but we're back on schedule now, so that's good.
Yes, we are. Yeah. Um,
Holidays are tricky sometimes.
yeah, it tends to happen when there's like a run of holidays like that. You know.
Yeah, it's just the time of the year. Been doing this for a long time. We know how it works.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, yeah, I hear it's a little bit cooler where you are today, which
Oh
is nice for January. Good heavens.
yeah. Yeah, it's very nice. It's like 20 degrees Celsius. It's because we've got rain all day so far. Like just in spurts. It's not raining at the moment, but like it's done miracles for the temperature. Truly,
Yeah, I
truly.
mean, obviously, definitely miracles. Like, if it was that cool during my summer, I'd be like, let's go. I'll take this. Like, even on overcast and like rainy days, it doesn't get like much lower than like, I don't know, 75 degrees. So, yeah,
Mm,
awesome.
mm, mm. Yeah.
Hmm.
Is it
Yeah,
particularly chilly? Is it, you snowed in yet?
I left the house today. Yes, I actually did. It's 35 degrees, so not freezing yet.
Pretty close though.
Pretty close. Definitely cold. I'm going to have to take the trash out to the road later. Not looking forward to that.
Oh, our bin night was on Christmas,
Yeah.
and
So
so
it got moved.
no, it didn't.
Oh,
We just didn't put our recycling bin out. So
for a whole.
recycling is once a fortnight, so it is very full, and it will not be back even this week. It'll be in another week's time.
Yeah. So it's over Christmas, so you have extra stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and you didn't get a collection at all. Yeah.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
my city, I think they give the people the day off and then
Mm-hmm.
just like make them work extra hard the next day, like twice as hard the next day. So,
Right.
the life of a garbage person or recycle person, whatever. Good
yeah.
stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess Australia is nicer in that way because they make the consumers bear the brunt of that. But
Yeah,
I don't know.
who knows? Who knows which is better or worse? What was I gonna say?
Well, I mean, you're spreading out the annoyance
Mm-hmm.
over a wider number of people as opposed to. Oh, did I lose you?
No, yeah.
No, you're there. Okay. As opposed to, a relatively small number of people who are inconvenienced by having to work twice as hard one day a year, right?
Well, is it a relatively small number of people? Like, if you're doing the job, uh, you should be like doing a collection every day. And
Right.
I imagine you only roster people, like you have enough people to do the job, so they're doing 8 hours of work in a day already, and then just being like, all right, now double the work. That's not,
Right.
it's not possible. Yeah, surely it's less like impactful to their lives to be like, all right, yes, you have to work Christmas, but it's between 3 o'clock and 7 a.m. We'll just cut out as much as like whatever else you do at the end of the day, just to get the
Right.
collections done. Surely that's less impactful than being like, all right, we have to tell every home that whose collection falls on Christmas that that it's moved. Like just sending out that email is going to impact more people because I mean we didn't get an email. You've got to send out letters. That's going
Because we live in 1934. Got it.
to
Nailed
no. I mean, I'm just saying. I don't think the trash company has everyone's email for where they live. But you know what they do know? Your address. So,
that's true.
uh, like, I think I don't know. I don't know. I don't care.
Good.
That's what.
It's over. It's done. You have to deal with an extra recycling stacking up for the next week or so, but there's worse things in the world.
Mm-hmm.
We're not
Yes.
going to complain about it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh.
So, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
what else is going on? Oh, so apparently we've got a Last of Us 2 release date looks like it's going to be April. I guess that's not a date, that's a month, but still.
The Last of Us 2.
Sorry, Last of Us Part 2, the HBO TV show adaptation
Oh,
thereof.
yes.
Yes, that one.
Okay, sure.
Because it's like, yeah, we already have The Last of Us Part 2, the video game.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, hey, they're
Yeah.
re-releasing number one, so well, they did anyway, like 3 times. So, you know.
Right. At least
Um,
3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But okay, so do we know if it's doing like a time skip like the games? And it's just like, all right, and here's Ellie, but she's older, and
Yeah.
what's his face?
Joel is older, yeah.
And he's gonna die, and you know.
Yeah.
Do we know
I
who's
mean,
playing Abby?
yes.
Oh, we do.
She was announced like last year. I don't remember what her name is though. Caitlin Dever?
Caitlin.
Dever. She's 5'2". I feel like Abby's like 5'10". She's ginormous.
Yeah, I mean, movie magic. You can
Yeah,
fix that. Tom
Yeah,
Cruise
fair.
looks tall in every movie he's in.
I know, but they do that for Tom Cruise. They don't do that for like rando person number 4 in your HBO show.
I don't think the person playing Abby counts as random person number 4.
You're right. She's probably number 2.
I have not seen this woman in anything. I think.
Me neither. I'm looking at her resume and it's like, didn't see that, didn't see that, didn't see that, didn't see that.
Yeah.
People are complaining she's too small and scrawny to be able to portray Abby. But after listening to a documentary, it's clear that Abby's strength and size isn't necessary for her character, but as a way to differentiate her from Ellie. So, yes.
Sure.
So, whatever. Whatever.
I mean,
Again, I maintain that The Last of Us Part 2 story is intended to piss off The Last of Us Part 1 fans. The large majority of them. It is written in a way to make them mad. And be like, hey, you know, these characters you like, well, check this out. The enemies they're fighting are just like they are. Like, let's poke at all these different things, all this dissonance that you've been ignoring in the first game. And it's just, you know, it's Druckmann trying to do some stuff with a video game that most people haven't tried to do. And again, I respect it. I'm annoyed by certain aspects of it for sure. And I really, you know, what do I say about Last of Us Part 2? I think I say I enjoyed the experience, but I didn't have fun with the experience. Which I feel like is a really thin line to try to split here. I get that.
There are a couple of games that do that, or TV shows that definitely do that, where it's enjoyable, but it's certainly not fun.
Yeah.
And it just like rubs you the wrong way, but you got to give them credit for at least doing it. Like there are a lot of things that would just be like, oh, we got to be very, very safe with our next sequel, right?
Right.
And it's just the adventures of Joel and Ellie forever and ever and ever, fighting clickers and, you know, finding like coffee, you know. But they could do that.
Murdering fireflies. Yeah.
Murdering fireflies, yeah.
Right.
But they didn't do that.
They could have done that. You're right.
Could have done that. Yep.
Yeah, and they didn't. And, you know, everybody was expecting the further adventures of Joel and Ellie, and for them to be like, okay, actually, no, they're going to have a fight. And then Joel's going to get murdered while Ellie watches. They're never going to make up. And then Ellie's going to go on a rampage fueled by revenge for the next 20 plus hours. And you're going to watch her descend into madness and, like, hurt innocent people. Have fun with this. It's like, oh, okay. I know. I understand what game we're in now. It's significantly different. But, yeah, like you said, you got to respect the effort. You got to respect any time people are like, we're not going to take it safe. We're going to try to push some boundaries. We're going to try to do some stuff that might make people mad at us, but we're going to try it. So good on them.
I mean, I'm just still upset that they cast Pedro Pascal for a character who doesn't wear a mask. you know?
Yeah. How come we can see his face?
Face.
That's annoying.
I suppose for this one we won't have to.
Not for long.
Yeah.
He's gonna get murdered with a golf club.
Ah,
Tough way to go.
tough way. Yep.
Yeah. But just the way that the game's like, okay, look, we're going to introduce you to this Abby character. She's immediately going to murder Joel. You love Joel. She's going to murder Joel because Joel killed her dad. And then we're going to make you play as this girl for, again, 20 plus hours and teach you that she's a human. She's not a monster. She's no more of a monster than Joel is or Ellie is. In fairness, probably everyone's a little bit of a monster in this world, if not a lot of a monster.
Right.
But they're no different than Joel or Ellie. Abby isn't. Here she is. Here she is with dogs. Here she is with her friends. Here she is protecting the people she loves, right? And also she killed Joel. People contain multitudes. And just, man, like the way they did that, it worked.
I mean,
People were not happy about it, but man, it worked.
it definitely worked. People were unhappy, but more to think about it, it is more. When you think about The Last of Us, there's it's a zombie apocalypse, right?
Yeah.
Every zombie apocalypse, TV show, book, movie, whatever, always inevitably at some point gets to, but people were the real monsters.
Yes.
And this is a take on that. So
100%. So maybe it's not as new as we're giving it credit for, is what you're saying?
yeah, maybe
Yeah.
people should have seen it coming just a slight little bit more.
Sure. But we get that at the end of Last of Us Part 1. Joel
Yeah.
murders a ton of doctors because he's like, I'm not letting you experiment with my adopted daughter. Fuck you.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So we totally get that. And then the way that he lies to Ellie about it at the end of the game, like, we get the humans are the real monsters messaging pretty loud and clear right there.
Right. I mean, if I've not finished the first game, but what I remember is like Joel is a guy living in a city, and there's a bunch of fascists running around, being like, "You can't travel, or you have to stay here." And like people with guns feel very much like people were monsters at the start. Like they were pretty heavy on like
Yes.
in order to survive, people have made some hard decisions about how society works.
Yes.
And other people
Totally.
don't like that, and so there's Joel's a smuggler essentially. Like he gets in and out of the city for financial gain, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. I think his goal at the start of the story is just to get enough booze to, like, forget about his family.
Right.
It's pretty dark. Yeah. Yeah. Anywho's. Yeah, I mean, like, do I want to watch this? I really liked what they did with Part 1. Like that, I mean, they nailed Season 1.
Good draw.
So good. Everything I wanted from it, I got. I don't, but the thing is, what do I want from Part 2? What if, like, the giraffe moment in Part 1? I'm like, they had better do the giraffe moment. If they don't do the giraffe moment, we riot. And then they did the giraffe moment, and I was like, yes, we got the giraffe moment. But in Part 2, there's not a giraffe moment. Everyone is miserable the whole time. Like, Ellie gets a nice moment with her girlfriend. I guess they have sex, and it's like this nice romantic connection thing. Okay, cool. That's maybe like the one moment of happiness that exists in this entire video game. Oh. So I feel like it's gonna be punishing more than anything else. I guess we'll find out.
Right. Do you think they'll be like? Do you think they'll change the ending to be like a bit more happier than just like, here's Ellie sitting alone playing guitar, missing a finger? You know.
Well, not only that, but the fight in the ocean, where Ellie's like brawling it out with Abby. Abby's been crucified on a like pole for who knows how long. She's emaciated and starving to death. And Ellie's not doing much better. And they're like flailing at each other. Abby doesn't even want to fight. And Ellie's like, fight me. It is the saddest, most like brutal people trying to kill each other scene I've ever seen. And then at the end, Ellie's like, I can't even do it. And she walks away. And it's like, my goodness. And then she has the alone moment at the house, missing the finger and the guitar, and her girlfriend and her kid are gone. Yes. And then there's that too. So yeah, I don't I don't know. I don't think they can change it. They didn't change the end of part 1, and that's not a happy ending.
Yeah, but I mean, it is man saves his daughter happy ending, right?
Is it?
Yes.
I I am not convinced that that's what that is.
I mean,
Daughter fully wants to give up her life to save humanity. Dad says
no.
no, kills everyone, lies to daughter about what happened.
Uh huh.
I don't think that's a happy ending.
I think it's happy for Joel. and and if it isn't like, the straight white man's ending, then what are we even doing it for,
2025's Omicron. That's not what it's about anymore.
Oh, damn.
Uh, anyway.
Anyway.
Yeah, I I want to watch it. But a big part of me is like, do you though?
You're going to.
You haven't wanted to replay the game at all.
Right, but you're gonna watch it. You watched season
Yeah, I
1, you've
know.
played the games. You're not going to not watch it.
You're probably right. Probably right.
Oh, I know I'm right.
Anyway. Also, Severance is back this week.
Ooh, Severance.
Severance.
I've not seen
Actually,
season 1.
Right. I don't know if it's this week. Severance season 2 is January 17th. Okay, so not yet.
Okay,
This
yeah.
month though.
Soon.
Soon. Yeah.
I should probably watch that.
I'm trying to decide if I care.
You enjoyed season 1.
I really like season 1,
Yep.
but also I enjoyed season 1 of Squid Game, and I don't care about season 2. I don't feel like we need a season 2 for Squid Game. I think we got Squid Game. We got the story. Man wins Squid Game, is haunted and PTSD scarred forever. The end. Like, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think in the subsequent time between season 1 and season 2, reality has become its own Squid Game, where people have not realized the message, where people like Mr. Beast made an actual Squid Game show where dozens and if not hundreds of poor people compete for money, and it's like, did you watch the show? Did you get it?
No. No. They were like, look how cool this idea is. People get murdered competing for money. Wow. Yeah. People completely missed the boat on that.
And so I think it's a little too close to reality for me to
Right.
want to watch it. I'm sure it's good. I've heard that season 3 is already filmed and they're just like looking for a good time to release it for programming, like when there's nothing else on. When like,
Well, not...
we don't have anything else, people might unsubscribe in April. We need to put it out in April.
Well, no, Netflix has got that figured out. They're putting out new content every single week on that platform in multiple genres. They have a new romantic comedy movie every week. They have a new action movie every week. Are they good? No, not usually, but it's new content, so the people stick around. I don't think there's ever a week where they're like, boy, golly, we have nothing coming out this week. Let's release Squid Game Season 3.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. If they're releasing something new every week, right?
Yeah.
Eventually those shows will stop, right? And it's like, why would you... And you don't release season 3 a week after season 2.
Right.
Right?
No. They have algorithms for this. They'll be like, when is it algorithmically appropriate for us to release season 3? And they'll go, oh, mighty algorithm, blessed be thy name. Tell us when to release our show. And the algorithm will go, June 17th. And they'll go, thank you, mighty algorithm.
Algorithm of the lake, tell us your wisdom.
Yeah. Exactly. And they go to the lake that's in the middle of the Netflix complex.
Right.
And the algorithm rises from the water and it says June 17th. Then it goes back down below the water. If this is what happens, I would not be surprised.
Yeah, probably. But I mean,
Yeah.
that's still working out a place to put it for programming. Like,
Yeah. No, it is. Totally.
yeah.
Anyway, so back to Severance. I don't know. We talked about Severance. I told you what Severance is, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
People
I
lose
just
their memories while they work at a job. Like they don't have any memory
yeah,
of the job. Yeah.
and when they're in the job, they have no concept or memories of outside the job.
Mm.
So they're effectively two separate people living two separate lives. So at the end of season one, they basically figure out they find this like switch, this control room that allows them to turn off to swap the personalities. Because management's done this before. They've
Mm-hmm.
taken people inside the office and swapped them to the outside version to ask them something,
Mm.
and then swap them back to the inside once they get the information.
Oh, okay.
So they know they can do this. So the workers managed to swap one of the characters who's outside back to his inside self while he's outside.
Mm.
And so that's how it ends. He basically like is like, "Oh, okay, I'm out, but I remember everything about work. I'm me. How do I, get the message out of what's going on in there? How do we end this, et cetera, et cetera."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Sounds
I
like
don't know. I kind of like that ending.
you
I kind of
just
think if it was a science fiction story, like a short story by like Isaac Asimov or something,
you
or
just
Philip
like
K. Dick, it could end right there.
yeah, you were just explaining that, and it came across as very Westworld, where it's like we've
Yeah.
just figured out that the robots maybe are people, and then just kind
Right.
of leave it there because like the next season sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's what I'm worried about is that season two is going to try that story, and I don't know if it needs to be told. So I don't
Mm.
know.
Mm.
We'll see. I'm probably not going to watch it right away. I'll see what the general buzz is about it. If people are happy about it, I might give it a try. But
Okay. All right.
yeah.
I mean, I finished watching Ted Lasso on Apple TV. That show is
Oh,
fantastic.
heard good things about the Ted Lasso.
You should absolutely watch that. If you're not going to watch The Last of Us or Severance 2, Ted Lasso is for you.
How many seasons is it?
It's 3, but I think the first season is like 8 episodes, and then it's
Mm,
10 and 10. And I think,
nice.
yeah.
Okay.
It's good. So good.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yep.
All right. What else do we got? Anything else going on?
New seasons of anime are starting because it's now
Ah,
winter 2025. Winter. Um, there's a show that I was looking forward to watching, but it turns out it's airing on Disney Plus, and I don't have Disney Plus, so fuck it. I'm not
what?
watching it. Yeah,
I have Disney Plus.
you have Disney. You wouldn't like it. It's not a show for you. It's
Oh, okay.
it's about a man who trains a child to be a figure skater because everyone
Mm.
says he was too old to start, and he ended up as like basically dancing for like Disney on Ice or something, and like he's like, I wanted to be an Olympian, and this is what I got. But he's like training a child, and it's very motivational.
Gotcha.
I was going to watch it with a friend of mine who was a figure skater, so I could get like her reaction of how accurate they are. But
Right.
I don't have Disney Plus, and I'm not going to subscribe to it for 3 months to watch the show. I'll wait for it to be done.
That's
and binge it.
fair. Are they releasing the episode like weekly?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. In that case, meh. Good call.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Other than that, looking at what's coming out, or at least what's already had an episode so far, the only thing that I think that's good that you might enjoy is Solo Leveling.
Yeah, I've actually heard some things about that one.
It's really good. It's based off a Korean manhwa, so kind of like Tower of God,
Oh,
but
yeah.
it's enjoyable. It's thoroughly enjoyable. The animation's really good. That's probably doing most of the heavy lifting because the story is portals to dungeons open up all across the planet, and people awaken with like magical powers, and they can go in and fight the monsters in it because like guns have no effect on them,
Classic, right?
right?
Yep.
And so 10 years later, this guy Jinwoo awakens with magical powers, and he needs to like be a hunter in the dungeons to like pay for his sister's tuition and his mother's medical bills. Except he awoke with just the barest minimum of magic power. Like they do like these readings, and he has 10. You know,
Oh.
right? So on the power scale, where everyone they're like, oh, even the most of the lowest ranks have at least 90. He has 10. So he goes into the lowest level dungeons, and that puts him in the hospital for like weeks on it every time, but he keeps doing it. Um, Eventually, he gets in over his head, nearly dies, but he unlocks like some magical powers, basically, where he can gain XP and it turns into a video game. And he gets like ability points to distribute, and he levels up solo.
It's an RPG all of a sudden. Yeah.
Yes. So I did just rewatch season 1 in preparation for season 2. It's 12 episodes. It's very quick.
Okay.
Yeah, the animation goes a long way. It's really well done.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, it's in my watch list,
Okay.
and it shows that episode 1 has been watched for like 4 minutes. And I don't remember doing this, so I think it was my daughter. So
Okay. Well,
I don't know.
give it a go.
Maybe she didn't like it. We'll see.
Give it a go.
Anyway, okay, deal.
It's either that or Burger Skill Fruit Master. About that time, hold on, what's the rest of the title? About that time, I became able to eat unlimited numbers of skill fruits that kill you and prevent disease. You could watch
Fantastic.
that. Yep.
Yeah. Actually, my daughter's been watching The Devil is a Part-Timer.
Oh, excellent. That's a good show.
Yeah, she's been enjoying it.
That's really fun.
Mm-hmm.
What about I'm getting married to the girl I hate in my class?
There's not like a parentheses after that? There's not a colon?
Nope.
Wow, that's the shortest title for an anime I've seen in a long time.
Oh, I mean, there's definitely shorter. One Piece is shorter. Link Click is shorter. Promise of Wizard is shorter. Zenshu is shorter. Let's see what else is here. I fell in love with an Okinawa girl, but I just I knew what she was saying because they have
There
their
you
own
go.
dialect. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good one.
Lot of trash coming out. Headhunted to another world from Salaryman to Big Four.
Fantastic.
Yep.
All right, enough of this.
Yep.
Warhammer time.
Warhammer. Woo.
Warhammer End in the Death Part 2.
Yeah. So this one was the bigger of the three, I think. It was 752 pages.
Yeah, it was serious business.
Mm-hmm.
I was glad I got a head start on it, to be honest.
Yeah, fair. I only
Yeah.
finished mine this morning.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think of what happens because I feel like most of the meat of the things that we care about happen in like the last 200 pages, where it's like you find out that, spoilers for the end of Death Volume 2, the Emperor is the Dark King, and then Horus beats the ever-living snot out of Sanguinius.
And murders him.
And
Yeah,
murders
he
him.
did.
Yes, he dies.
Yeah. I mean, beat the ever-living snot implies he's still alive, I think.
Sure. Okay, he beats all
He
of the
did.
blood out of the blood guy. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. It was a lot of blood. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, Dorn finds his way out of his little prison,
True.
and the Blood Angels don't die after Sanguinius kind of abandons them. So that's nice.
Valdor is fighting for 59 seconds by the time he gets out of his little murder torture
Yeah.
thing, which, time is a bit wibbly wobbly, but, he sees the Emperor's light, I guess.
Right? As everybody does for a minute. Yep. We get the library scene where Aramon shows up. And Cinderman and what's her face are like, holy shit, it's a heretical marine. He's going to kill us all. And Aramon's like, do you want me to? Like,
I could.
Probably a quicker, merciful death than anything that's waiting for you out there. And they're like, no, we're good. And he's like, are you sure?
He's like, he really genuinely means it. Like, it'd be nice, it'd be quick, I'd do it painless. And they're like, no, we're good. We'd very much like to live. Thank you, Mr. Space Marine.
He's like, have you seen what's out there? Like, you're all going to die in terrible, terrible ways. I'm offering you this gift. But all right. And he respects it.
Yeah.
Again, hilarious. I like how they're terrified of him. So he's like, well, maybe if I change my appearance. I'm not wearing my armor anymore. And it's like this terrible
Ghoul.
demon visage, like his mouth like tracks all the way up the rest of his face, and his
And
teeth are terrifying,
his
and
skin
like,
is paper thin across the skull,
yeah.
and every time he moves, it's like a radiological flicker, like he's giving off X-rays of himself.
And he's like, "Is that better?" And they're
Better,
like,
like,
"Sure."
yeah, yep, thanks.
Who says these books aren't funny? Oh man, that was
Ugh.
so good. I loved it. Yeah,
Hmm.
and he's just like, I'm just looking for information. I want to kill Lorgar, as one does.
Kill Lorgar.
Um, wait, not Lorgar. Who does he
No,
want to kill?
he wants to like carve out a place in the future for the Thousand Sons. I don't,
No, he also wants to kill a Primarch, doesn't
no,
he?
no. There is a brief mention of a bearer of the word he was in some of the other books where he's like, I want to kill Lorgar because he turned away from the Emperor.
Mm-hmm.
That might be who you're getting him mixed
That
up with.
might be it.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
Aramin's
So
just
Aramis
like,
is looking for information.
yeah, he wants to save all of the books because libraries are, you know,
It's a
really,
word bearer thing.
it's a Thousand Son thing. He's a Thousand Son.
Oh, right. Yes.
Yeah. And by save all the books, he means drain all the ink off them and capture the knowledge, but ruin them for everyone else.
Yeah, and read them somehow,
Yeah, magic
like
bullshit.
pulling
Yeah,
the ink off the page. Yeah.
yeah. It's
It's
magic.
like, oh, you
But yeah.
keep hearing about the Dark King, huh? Where did you hear about that? And they're like, all over the place. It's like, I'll just get into your minds real quick, snag that out of there,
Right, they couldn't
grab the
remember.
books you read them in. Yeah.
Yeah. I do like that time is a bit wibbly wobbly, and everyone's doing the tarot reading and getting the exact
Yeah.
same reading over and over again. I just think it's neat. It's like it's a very easy way to show what's happening. At this like start of the book, there's a bit where they're like, here's I think it's Zagreus Kane on Mars waiting for Horus to be done with the siege so he can like send out the repair fleets, and he's like, huh,
Yeah.
look at this giant ocean of data I'm monitoring. What's this one little error? Huh, that's weird. It's got to be like a systems diagnostics fault or something. Let's just now there's two of them, and now there's four, there's eight, there's 16, and then he just starts screaming because time is standing still and it's spreading out from Terra now. It's a very set up thing because at no point in this book do we ever care about the Dark Mechanicum or the Mechanicum ever again.
Nope.
But I don't know. It's a good establishing shot. I like it.
Yeah. I was kind of wondering if we're ever going to go back there, but we sure didn't.
No, sure. We sure don't.
No. Yeah, that was kind of fun.
Yeah. We get
Yeah.
politicking between the Chosen of Malkador and the Custodes over who gets the whole Basilius foe's leash.
Right? And Basilius Foe is like, I don't have any weapons, but I'm a smart guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I can subtly manipulate a custodian into disobeying orders?
Sort of. Or at least
Sort of, yeah.
yeah, and I like all the stuff from his perspective where he's like, okay, so they know I'm really smart, and they're going to expect something. So they're going to, every time nothing happens, they're going to, like, inspect me with more and more scrutiny until it causes them to miss something. Because I don't have anything. Like, I'm stuck, I'm a prisoner here, I've got nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he does that, and eventually, what's the name? Andromeda 17, and one of the Chosen kind of managed to get into like a, well, do you have proof that those are your orders with other Custodes to be like, let's go and have him do more stuff on the weapon because souls exist, and he has to like fiddle with his weapon that he made with souls somehow. Sure.
Sure. Totally. Yep.
Again, just enjoy the character moment where he gets a blood sample and a tissue sample and starts bio-cultivating stuff, and he's like, well, pound for pound, there's more of you down there in that soup than there is anywhere else. Oh, Fur, you're a scary person sometimes.
It is funny though.
It's
Yeah.
funny and scary.
Yep.
Lots of little
So
character
basically, it's
moments.
been 2 books now of
Mhm,
Basilius Foe being like, I can sure create a weapon that will kill Astartes.
mhm, mhm. And he did. He theory.
Did he?
Yeah, he said
He
he.
sure says he did.
Uh
Okay.
huh. Well, I mean, spoilers. 40K exists, so we know that there's no weapon that fires that kills all the Space Marines. Like we know that's
Well,
something that
or there was a weapon
and it doesn't
and
work.
it got pushed, it got like locked away. It
Yeah,
got
I mean,
like we proved it works and it got locked away because it's
right.
dangerous. Right?
Yeah, I mean, it could
Yeah.
definitely exist, and I think for the record, it does. And
Ah,
now he's
okay.
here refining it, so it also like kills this spirit in the warp, because
Which he's like, I am bullshitting so hard right now. I don't know anything about this warp stuff. All I've worried about is the physical.
hmm
But I need something to explain to these people why it's not done, and explaining that it needs to
right,
kill their soul too seems to do the trick.
yeah,
Yeah,
which it
very
does the
funny.
trick. Yeah. So again, I think this book is just filled with character moments where it's like, here's Keela marching north, and she comes across some sons of Horus, and they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna kill you all. Yeah, there are no non-combatants that carry the Emperor's flag." And then it's
Right.
like, "And here's Sigismund."
And I was like, oh, it's Sigismund. He's been missing for a while.
Yeah,
And here's Sigismund, and now he has some tanks. I was like, oh, that makes a lot more sense. That helps.
that helps. Yeah. We get
Yeah.
a bunch of character moments between like Fafnir Ran and Arkham. What's his name? He's he's always like called Alchemist second of that name, right? We had a bunch of like where they're giving each other orders and like
Yeah.
divvying up like who's in control of the army, and it's like the last order he gives, he calls him by Fafnir, not my brother, and it's like it's the only shorthand he can get for like how much he loves this brother, and like Zaphon is there, and
Mm-hmm.
Maximus Thane and all the stuff they do, and like they find Dawn buried in the wall, and he's like, I've got to get through there, and he's like bashing on it with a stick, and it's like you
Yep.
can't dig your way through kilometers of bedrock. It's not gonna work.
It's just the warp messing with you. It's like, yeah,
Yeah,
that's true. Good call,
yeah.
actually. Someone
Um,
knows what's going on. That's nice.
it's very hard to like summarize why the book is so good because there's a bunch of just character moments like that, and a lot of like war is bad as well, and or war is horrific, not necessarily bad. People here kind of like the war. Um, yeah, it's like there's how long is the audiobook? It is 18 hours and 30 minutes. I'm gonna say 15 hours of that is just that. It's
Yeah.
or finding really creative ways to be descriptive about things, like Dan Abnett really flexing his muscles here. Um,
Totally. Yeah. A lot of the time he's describing stuff, and I'm like, all right, you're really digging into your writing skills here to describe this thing.
mhm.
I don't know that it needed it, but it's all good.
I don't know that it doesn't either. All right.
That's true.
Yeah. So we get oh god, this is a really funny bit where they're in the palace and they're like trying to get to the throne room. Is it this book? Yeah, I'm forgetting if it's this book or the last book. But John Grammaticus is like, all right, let's go, Argonauts. And then he
Yeah.
opens the door, and there's a custodian on the other side. He's like, desist, cease and desist, or be prepared to be destroyed, like immediately.
Yeah, that was good. They're like,
Yeah.
all we can do is open this door and deal with what's on the other side. And they're like, yeah, that's all we can do. And then they open it, it's like, oh. That's the last book. But yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's
a
the
good
last
moment.
book. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
yeah. So what?
Yeah,
What?
so they're getting carted off because they get an audience with Vulcan, and they're like,
Mhm.
he's like, I'm super busy right now. What do you want? And they're like, we want to talk to the Emperor, and he's like, he's not here.
Here.
Could, it's like, what do you want with him?
We can't
We
tell you.
can't tell you. Like, you have this super evil knife in your possession. Does it have something to do with that? No.
No.
Ah. Falcon's like, this was a waste of time, and sends them away
Yeah.
for, I don't know, put them in prison or something. Oh, everyone's dying. Not sure what the plan is here exactly with these prisoners.
No, but they get out because the traders are getting in, even though the gates are shut. Time and space is a bit wibbly wobbly. Traders get in. There's a fight. They get their stuff. Graft carries a box and, becomes very philosophical about barbed wire on a fence in the storehouse or
Barbed
sacks
wire
of
is
grain in
a
the grain.
fence.
Yeah, it's always a fence.
It's always a sack of grain, even if there's no grain in it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So where do they go after that? They just kind of like wander around for a bit and then immediately get attacked by Erebus.
Well, so heretical forces start finding themselves inside the palace walls, like of no effort on their own.
Right.
I love the moment from the one guy who's like, "Yes, I'm the first one in. They'll talk
Horus.
about me forever." And 10 minutes later, he's like, "Ah, shit! Everybody else got in at the same time."
What if a magic miracle got me in? It's been getting other people in too. What's the point of that?
To his credit, though, he's like, "There's a lot of honor to be won. I'll just share it with everybody else. It'll be fine." I'm like, actually, a high-minded idea for a heretical space marine at this point, but nicely done. He's a Night Lord, I think, so it's like, we have a low bar for you, man. Sorry.
Yeah, he's a knight.
Yeah, so all these heretical space marines start popping in, like, through portals and doors and stuff, and so the people that are escorting our perpetuals are like, holy shit, and everyone starts dying, and our prisoners just book it, right? Yeah, so they run for it. And yep, they discover that there are pieces of red thread tied to things that they didn't tie the red thread to. Earlier, they were using the thread to track their progress through the Imperial Palace when they were trying to find the Emperor. But now they're finding the thread tied to things that they didn't put the thread on. So they start following it because time and space are wibbly wobbly right now, and nothing makes sense anyway.
But
so they're following it, and then Erebus ambushes them. Yes.
Right. If you remember back to several months ago at this point, I probably mentioned, or not several months, but like the start of the Horus Heresy, Siege of Terror. I was probably like, there's going to be a bit of the book that makes you go, It's it's time and space being a bit wibbly wobbly, and these companions following thread that they may or may not have already put down.
They had nope, because they have to go back and put it down later.
No, but
because time and space is wibbly wobbly.
But it's all one time, so if they put it down now or later, it's the same thing.
Yeah, fine. I know. I'm allowing it.
You can see the pain on your face, and you're like, yeah, fine. That little eyes rolling in the back of your head, you're just like, oh god. Yeah. But so
it's just warp bullshit. Warhammer is imbued with warp bullshit. And whenever you want, you can do stuff that's warp bullshitty, and
but
you just roll with it. There is no answer.
There is this. It's fun warp bullshit though. Like,
yeah, kind of.
Look. When I say it's fun warp bullshit, I mean that Dan Abnett has taken it seriously and made all the characters think about the ways in which it affects them. So, in the library with Isaac Araman, he's like, well, time is paused, so prophecies miss because they can no longer land where they're supposed to. Sanguinius is like, well, time is paused, so it's no longer a day, which means the prophecy that I die tomorrow can't come true because it'll never be tomorrow, right? And
prophecy that I'll die at Horus's hand will never happen.
Right. And then you've also got Alanius and them tying threads and stuff. It's fun warp bullshit because it, like, a lot of the characters are at least affected and understand it and have to deal with it in multiple ways. Rather than just being like, it's warp bullshit, he can do that, and then we'll never talk about it again. Like,
That's true.
like a fireball or a chain lightning or something,
Yeah.
That's
I sure had a couple times where I was thinking about remember that time on the ship with, what's his name? Zahariel's best friend, cousin dude?
Oh, Nemiel.
Nemiel. When we're on the ship with Nemiel and the lion, and they're like, there's warp bullshit. Oh no. And it's like, our regular weapons sure don't hurt them. We need our own warp bullshit to counter it. And then they certainly forgot about that for the rest of the story. Like, no one is countering the warp beasts with anything other than regular attacks for the most part in this book. Space Marines are hitting them with regular chainswords, and it's totally awesome.
Well, I mean, the lion's not here. He hasn't given them that information.
My gosh, that would be funny. They're like 90% of the way done with the war, and the lion shows up, and he's like, so we can only harm these warp beasts with warp magic ourselves. And all of a sudden, their regular attacks stop working, and they have to have warp support now.
Okay, so there are a couple ways you can, like, puzzle this out if you want. One is that you can actually kill warp beasts with regular attacks. It's just a lot more work, right? The second one is that the Emperor's telephasic wards are still weakening them all and making them all mortal and vulnerable to regular attacks.
Fair enough. I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take that as an answer.
Because, it is interesting that, like, on the siege, we haven't really seen any librarians be reinstated for the loyalists. Like, there aren't Blood Angels or Imperial Fists running around that are librarians or psychers. There's not a whole lot of that.
Nope.
Like, we know that the Dark Angels have some, but the Dark Angels are all traitors pretending.
Basically heretical. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting question.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, maybe they all got carted off for the unspoken sanction that Vulcan had to enact to save Malkador. Where they feed psychics.
There are a lot of people that they're feeding to the throne. Yeah.
Warhammer has a really great way of being like, what if we made the nicest people have to make some really awful choices? And Vulcan is the Primarch who's like, I care about people.
Right.
I think everyone has a chance to live. Let's make him feed people into a machine.
Yeah, let's make him make the decision to start doing this. Yeah. Amazing. Poor Vulcan.
Yeah, poor Vulcan.
But speaking of Zahariel, we do have the stuff at the Astronomicon that's happening.
It's true.
Typhus is like, die everyone, and Zahariel's like, no. That's pretty much it.
That's kind of it. I'm a little annoyed that the book has just been like, all right, librarians get to work reactivating the Astronomicon. Like, great, we'll do that. And they spend a couple of hours, and Corswain's like, I'll buy you as much time as I can, brothers. And then the Plague Marines get in, and they're like, oh no, they've basically undone all of our work twice,
Yes, that is correct. It is pretty frustrating.
Yeah.
Because it's like, people are dying for this to get finished so we can relight the Astronomicon.
Right.
Then it's like, oh, sorry, I have to start over. And like, okay.
This is some fragile work.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Long Companions, as they're called, the Argonauts, which it says, like, I think it's a little insulting to the original group, but okay. They get ambushed by Erebus.
Who was the one following them the whole time?
Yeah, we already knew that when he turned up to kill Urda.
I guess. It was never really specifically made clear that he's the same.
He said he had been following them at that time, right? Like,
but like, why is he? I know he's all warp tainted and stuff, but like, why is he? It feels like a Neverborn is following them, right?
Yeah.
It's not just a warp tainted space marine. I don't know. I just felt like the way it was portrayed in the books, it was something like Samus or whatever, right? Some kind of named Neverborn who's been chasing them. Incredibly powerful, like, hunting them through the warp. But it's just friggin' Erebus. Like, that's not as cool.
As far as, I mean, I don't know. It definitely...
Okay, it's Erebus.
It definitely is like... They're running from something monstrous.
Yeah.
People were monsters the whole time, Falcon.
I know.
They're running from the Last of Us script. Like,
But there's a difference between Erebus and something that's truly Neverborn. Like, it's
true.
not the same
Yeah,
thing.
no, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's fine. So Erebus shows up and he's like, "I'm gonna murder all of you." And it's like,
Mhm.
okay, but also, why? What does he want with them?
What does he want? What does
Yeah,
Erebus want here?
like, why has he been hunting them for so long? Like, what
Maybe he
threat
wants
do
the
they
knife.
possibly pose? I guess, but that thing, I
He's a
mean,
big he's a big collector of evil knives.
yeah, I mean, if he wanted the knife, I would buy that. Then
He
it gets
might.
broken, so that's not okay.
Well, spoilers. It's not broken anymore.
What?
Oh, maybe that's in the next book.
Might
Uh,
be.
okay, so at the end of this book, the Emperor's letting go of all his warp power, and like he heals everyone.
Oh.
Eventually, at some point, they check their pockets, and the knife is fixed. Sorry for the spoiler. I'm sorry.
I mean, yeah, I could have figured that one out.
Yeah,
Yeah. Anywho, right, but he just wants to kill everyone.
he just wants to kill everyone. Maybe I mean, so here's the thing: Lorgar is specifically like banished from Horus's side. He's like Horus already like flayed his face, which, whew, um, and so maybe this is like his way of getting on Terra is like I have to follow these guys in through the back way because if I go in the normal
Sure,
way, and that's his plan. That's how he got
that's
here.
fine. And then he's like, and now that I'm here, I'm gonna kill these randos.
Well, he's gonna kill them because they have the ability to jump around time and space with magic knives and Eldari scissors. Like he probably is like these might be good people to take off the board.
Sure.
Like he's the hand of destiny. These guys have got a destiny about them. Sure.
Yeah, that's true. They sure do. A
Yeah.
lot of destiny.
Yeah. Anyway, he
Anywho.
starts killing them all, and he's speaking like Enuncier at them and blasting them apart. And then Graft, the agricultural servitor, is just like bashing Erebus's face in with a box. Oh,
Good moment.
it's always good to see Erebus get his shit kicked in, even just for a little bit. Even if it
Yeah,
doesn't win, there's always the hope.
by a random farming servitor.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh man,
Then
the best.
Acte ends up buried under a bunch of rocks after she goes supernova against Erebus. And she starts telling Ol and everyone else to run because the Dark King is coming.
Mm-hmm.
And she gets to question whether or not immortality is really such a boon after all. If it's spent trapped and dying and being brought back and dying again.
Yeah, trapped under many tons of rubble that she can't possibly hope to free herself from. Yeah, bad times.
Good times. Yeah, so we do eventually get to see what, like, we get a couple of scenes where it's like, and the enemy were running completely scared from something, like, utterly broken, through perfect fear, have become fearless of anything they're running towards. And
Right,
it's this big ball of black light.
like
Yeah,
a sphere. Yeah,
yeah. It's the Emperor having sucked up so much warp power that he's basically turned himself into a god. So, it, I'm thinking back to like all of 40k. Whenever there's a question of like Gulliman sitting down with his like Eldari best friend and his like librarians being like, so is the Emperor a god or becoming a god? And it's like, well, he could have if he wanted to. Like in this
yeah,
moment, the Emperor absolutely could have just been like, I'm a god, I'm a chaos god, you know?
right.
Uh, and I think that's really interesting. I kind of wish we had an alternate reality where the Emperor becomes a Chaos God, and we know just how awful that is. Because like everyone's like, oh, if the Dark King is born, things are immeasurably worse for humanity than it is if without them. I'm like, how?
I
How?
know. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, so everything's fucked.
All right.
Terra's never recovering from this. Everyone's dead. Like, what?
My only guess is that the Emperor is kind of like Slanesh, in that when she was born, she just ate all of the unprotected Eldari souls.
Mm,
And the Emperor is just like, I'm the god of humans and chaos, and he like is born and is like just starts eating all the human souls.
sure. I
But
mean, don't your souls just get eaten when you die anyway? I mean,
sure,
that's the
but
truth of the immaterium.
like this is a special kind of eating. It's a big difference. Um,
Cheers.
Look, I don't have all the answers for you. I'm
I
sorry,
know.
but here's the
I
thing.
know.
Here's the what we do get is the Emperor gets to sit on a throne, and people slowly feed themselves to him anyway. You know,
Right. Yep.
that's neat. Um,
And by slowly, we mean 10,000 a day, but yes.
yeah, well, it starts off with like 1,000 a day and slowly ramps up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Neat.
Yep.
Yeah. And then we get a fine moment where Alonius is like, holy smokes, I'm the only one who can talk some sense into the Emperor because we go way back.
And the Emperor's only
And
pausing now because of the astronomically unlikely event that this is, not out of any um, recognition of like old
right.
friendship, which I get, but it is very, very creepy to hear the Emperor puppet his like dead custodian corpses, and once they like, get into the conversation, it's like, oh, it's just gonna ignore the slip into the first person pronoun here.
Yep. That's super creepy Emperor guy.
Oh, oh, buddy. Uh,
Not great.
yeah. So,
Yeah. So
how,
then,
how do you feel about that conversation? Where he's
I
like,
mean,
look, you
it's
short-sighted
fine.
dickhead.
Yeah. I mean, Ollie's basically like, look, man, we're here because you don't have any patience. Because you see a problem and you're like, gotta get a solution now. We don't have time to test anything. We can't be patient. Solution go, 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 go. And screw the future consequences. We don't care. And he's like, so we're here because you did that a whole bunch of times over the last millennia. And guess what? You're doing it again. You
Right.
see a problem, you find a solution to the problem. Let's do this. No thought to the consequences at all. And this is bad times. And like, I have to be strong enough to defeat Horus. He's like, not like this, you don't. This is worse for everyone.
Right.
So I liked it from that perspective because he did have a standing here. He wasn't just like, stop being a dick, dude. And the Emperor's like, oh man, you're right. I should stop being a dick. Like it did move back into their relationship. The Emperor's like, look, man, you always gave it to me straight. Like other people wouldn't do that, but you always did, even if it hurt you. Unspoken thought, you stabbed me once. I kind of was waiting for that to come up.
Right. Right. How,
So I liked it.
how much do you think it helped that like Loken was there being like, well, it's better to die, get killed by demons than to become them, you know?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, I think that helped.
it is thoroughly antithetical to everything the Emperor wanted to be, and said that he was, and said that he wanted to be. If he does just be like, well, I'm a god now, you know, I'm gonna team up with the demons to kill the demons, you know?
Right. Right.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's,
So I mean, it did right, and it really did just seem like the Emperor picked up the biggest stick he could find to kill Horus, damn the consequences, and someone had to be like, "Hey, man,
that's a big stick.
maybe you don't have to pick up that stick." He's
Watch
like,
where you're
"I never
swinging that thing.
considered that. I only considered I had to pick up the stick." Right?
I didn't
Which
even
is,
see that there were other
I think
sticks.
that's a very human thing. Totally a human thing. So yeah, that was good. Also, so then there's a moment he decides to give it up. He abandons the powers, and anyway, a lot of stuff happens there.
He like sends out this call to being like, I need allies. Anyone who can come fight with me, come do it now.
Yeah,
And then he
and
heals all the people.
well, what's the radius on that?
Not
It doesn't
big.
seem very much. It seems like
He
about 40 feet.
he heals the people next to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
Okay, and then Malkador, in like half blind and insane with pain, like is noticing this, and he says that the Emperor basically gave up his more human emotions in order to go kill Horus.
Horus, right.
Because if he has any love or pity or regret or anything that'll make him hesitate, it's not going to work.
Right.
He won't be able to do it. And then there's a line, it's like, he hopes he'll be able to regain them soon. And that's like popular highlight. 300 people have highlighted the sentence.
That's funny.
That was funny. I was like, that's a bad omen. All right. So yeah, so I thought that was good too.
Yeah. What else? What else we get? We get Ferris Manus coming back to be like, please go and avenge me. I don't like my skull as a trophy. Please go kill him.
Yeah, that was up until that moment. I was kind of like, is this just like a trick? Is this like Ferris Manus's puppeted corpse, like speaking to Sanguinius? But then the end is like, I'll like get my skull back. I don't want to be a trophy. I'm like, that's Ferris Manus.
Okay.
Totally.
So it is interesting that like the warp, technically there's no time in the warp, right?
Yeah.
And so the Horus has like summoned the ghosts of all of his dead brothers, loyal or otherwise, and they've all like, gathered around and stopped fighting. And it's like, they're all here. They're all waiting to watch this. And you're like, all of them? I think it's a great moment that shows Horus's power in the warp, and like at that point they're still trying to trick you that the Dark King is him. So it's a neat little warp bullshit moment. I like warp bullshit like that.
Yeah.
Especially because like last one I liked because it had consequences for everyone and everyone was dealing with it. This is warp bullshit with no consequences, but it's just really neat.
Totally no consequences whatsoever. Right,
Yeah.
you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you feel about Loken and Samus?
The fact that Samus ended up kind of getting bitch slapped at the end was like, it's a weird ending for this guy. He's like this supposed to be this super imposing, absolutely terrifying, unstoppable. Like we barely beat him the first time we met this dude. It was totally. Everyone still bears the scars of that engagement.
Yep.
And then Loken's like, actually, you're embarrassing. And he's like, oh, my powers.
Oh, that's great.
Pretty much it.
No, that's fair.
Yeah. I like that Samus busts open the bulkhead on the ship so that he can show Loken Terra.
Yeah.
But, like, no one gets sucked out of the ship. The physics don't apply during this moment while Samus is hanging out. And then as soon as he's gone, the ship's like, oh, bulkhead's open. Physics now apply. Warp bullshit. Good times.
Yeah. I really like the dynamic between Samus and Loken, where he's like, yes, he's going to try and torture me by showing me all of everything. That's not going to work. I've already been across, like, the River Styx into madness. This is nothing. It's actually, like, nice for Loken, where he's like, oh, I get it now. I see everything. Thanks for giving me some understanding and some context, buddy.
Very kind of you, actually.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, then you've got Sanguinius being like, what's up, Horus? I may be horribly maimed for my fight with Angron and still actively bleeding and doing terribly, but I can totally kill you, you warp-infused demon monster Primarch you.
Yep.
And Horus is holding out some hope, whether it's real or not. He's holding out hope that Sanguinius will realize that fighting him is pointless, and then he will give up and join his side with the other forces of evil. And then when Sanguinius does not, he's kind of sad about it.
Kind of sad. How do you like Horus's plan to make a throne for everyone else and have them like join him? Because he's like, okay, throughout the most of the Horus Heresy, we've seen that like Khorne kind of wants Sanguinius, right? Like,
Yeah.
Kabander is a Khornate demon. It's, you know, the Red Thirst and all that, and they're like, oh, there's more than enough room for 2 Red Angels in the Pantheon, Sanguinius, so you better not turn to Chaos.
Right.
But here, Horus's plan is not to turn Sanguinius to Khorne. it's to Nurgle to like gift him with life,
Right.
and then to give Dawn to Khorne, the Emperor to pledge him to Slanesh to like rule in excess, and to offer Valdor change, because
Right.
he's like so regimentally rigid in his like servitude to the Emperor that like this will be a change for him, and so the Change God.
Right.
What did you think about that?
Um, I don't
Or,
know. It felt to me like the remnants of Horus's old self kind of surfacing a little bit. Like I said, I don't know that he actually really wants the other
no,
Primarchs to join him.
right?
I don't know that he actually really expects his father to join him,
No,
right?
I think he wants them as trophies. It's like, look what I
Yeah.
turned at the end, you know?
Yeah. And it's a wish. It's hello, kitty. It's a thing that he wants but he knows is impossible.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't know. Like there's a moment at the end there where Horus kind of talks about how he's lost his humanity, right?
Yeah, a
Where
little bit.
is it here? There it is. He says, even broken, Sanguinius will not go quietly. He will not make this easy. Lupercal growls. Does he relish this? Hate it? Consider it an annoying waste of time when he has better things to do? There's no way to fathom him, for he is no longer remotely human. Right?
Buddy. Yeah, yeah.
So, Horus is just not even human.
He's so far removed from that, like, any real motivations for why he's doing this or what he's going to get out of this is just really a bit too hard for us to comprehend because he doesn't get it either.
I
Like,
don't think he gets it. Yeah.
even Ferris Manus was like, yeah, he brought me back here on a whim, but I'm staying through my own willpower, you know?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, fair enough.
Good old Horus.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I mean, the bit of the rope-a-dope with the Sanguinius Horus fight, where it's like, oh no, you cut my cheek open. Oh no, you cut some cables. Oh no, my guts are spilling out. And I was playing you the whole time, and now you're dead, right? Yeah, it's
It's a bit
interesting because like Sanguinius knows that Horus is going to kill him. He's known for books and books and books and books. So it's just weird to be like, here's the fight that you've been waiting for, and oh my gosh, Sanguinius is winning. I was like, no, he's not. What are you talking about? That's not how this goes at all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think deeply there's a part of Sanguinius where he doesn't want to believe in his prophecy, right? Like
In his own gift. Yeah.
yeah, and I think that scene there is not to like trick us that oh Sanguinius might win it here. It's for Sanguinius to be like, I don't know, to give Sanguinius hope or to like tease
And
him.
then to dash it terribly
yeah.
on the rocks. Yeah.
Very 40k.
Okay.
Like even like right down to the ending of the fight, he's trying to fly up, and the Horus grabs his ankle, breaks it, and then throws him to the ground, breaking ribs in his arm and like one of his wings, and he's like, "I'm going to stand up. I'm going to die on my feet." And then Worldbreaker, his massive mace, crushes his face. You know.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay,
Oh, it's over. Yeah,
that was
got it.
suddenly that was suddenly over very quickly, and it's like two demigods in a mortal contest, back and forth, then slam, it's over. Like it's this hard cut, and I think it was a really great way to do a Primarch fight. Like we've had a lot of like the Lion and Gulliman versus Kurz, and those fights compared to this lack something. Like this is such a great way to be like, these are demigods, not just people fighting, you know?
Yeah, but especially Horus just outclasses Sanguinius so much at this point. Horus specifically says, I've been holding back. Because part of me does want you to join me. Once it's clear you're not going to, I'm tired of messing around. I'm grabbing your ankle. You've flown away from me 27 times during this fight, and I've let you do it. This time, you're not getting away, and it's over. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a way to set up Horus a little bit, right? If the Emperor's going to go fight him, we have to establish that he can easily take down Sanguinius, so at least we know that.
True. I mean, here's the thing: we sent all of the Emperor stuff setting up Horus as being like the Emperor sees how powerful he is and is so scared, so concerned that like he needs the power. He almost turns into a Chaos God, just trying to stop him. I think just that would have been enough to be like, all right, we get it. He's powerful.
Sure.
I feel
Totally.
like, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Sanguinius is dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a moment there where he's dead and Horus walks away. That's the last sentence in the book, actually. Things scurry forward from the shadows to nail the body up.
Yeah.
The end. And I was like, oh, that's a dark ending.
That is a dark ending. Oh, damn.
Yeah, we're not giving Sanguinius a respectful burial.
No.
Probably.
Probably not.
Right.
Oh man, we did not mention it last week. I say last week, 5 days ago for the last book. But the other book opens with like a shot of like the just outside the palace, and I entirely forgot about it because it's like, oh, there were crucified titans along the walkway, and it's like,
Yeah.
what imagery that is, you know?
Yeah. It's like, one, how?
Right.
Two, that's kind of badass.
Yeah. So I think we're gonna get a little crucified Sanguinius opening this time, and we'll be like, oh, it rhymes. It's very George Lucas.
You're probably right about that.
Uh.
Yeah. Oh, and then Dorn escapes.
Oh right, Dawn escapes and frees Acte.
Well, yes, but like, how did he escape? He's in this perfect prison developed for him specifically by Horus. He's losing his mind. And then the Emperor sends out a call to action, and now he can escape.
Yep.
Is that it?
Yep, that's it.
Like, it's a cause and effect?
Yep.
Okay, fair enough.
Sure. Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
I do like that Dawn spends all of his time reciting like civil ethics on warfare to Gorn.
Yeah, and Dorn's like losing his mind, but he never loses the sense of humor that he really finds it funny when Horn gets mad at him for not listening to what he's saying and keeps rambling about ethics in war. Fantastic. Yeah, and then he finds Akate, who doesn't have to spend the next 10,000 years buried under some rubble because a Primarch heard her and knew she was alive and saved her.
Yeah,
that was nice.
Being a telepath has its bonuses.
Sure does. Yeah, I liked too when he gets out and he's just, everyone's dead. Like, all my sons are here, they're all dead. I thought this was a pile of rubble because gray dust is covering everything so thoroughly.
Right.
But that's a helmet, that's an arm.
Those are my sons.
Yeah. Like, that's so indistinguishable from just like Detrius that it's humans.
You pronounce
vocabulary.
You pronounce it Detrius?
I did.
Detritus.
Is it detritus?
Yeah. As far as I'm aware, it's detritus.
Okay. I mean...
Get Google to pronounce it for you.
Yeah. You're right. It is detritus. Have I never heard that pronounced before?
First time for everything.
Amazing. We've learned something today. That's good.
I think I like Detrius. It's pretty resoundable. Resonable.
Yeah, definitely resonable.
Yep.
Awesome.
All right. So that's is that everything?
Yeah. There's the final scene at the end where the people who are working at the bureaucracy of the Imperium try to escape because a ginormous warp demon is like heading for them. And they get in one of the airships and they're flying and like, ah, crap, that's why this one got left behind because it sucks. And they start the engines give out. And they're like, okay, well, I guess we're going to die. And then it's like, nope, we get another reprieve and it goes up again. And then they fly into all the demon bats and this time they fall and they die. And it's like, so... unnecessary fake out, but sure.
It's to give them hope.
Yeah. Which is a very Warhammer thing to do.
Yes, it's a very Warhammer thing to do.
All right, good. Next up.
The End of the
End
Death
in the Death
volume.
3.
Yeah. Yeah. What are your predictions?
The Emperor doesn't die because I've read 40K books.
Well,
Well, okay. Question: what is death really?
What is death for the carrion king on the corpse throne? You know, yeah.
Yeah, right. Horus certainly seems to not be around in 40K, so that's exciting.
Debatable.
Ooh, does anybody ever really go away?
Okay, so there are some good books where some people maybe try to clone Horus.
Oh yeah, of course.
It doesn't go well for them.
Ah.
Yeah, but
Oh.
effectively
So
no.
what?
It is, as a rule of thumb, you can say there is no Horus in 40K, but except for like this one book.
So you would clone Horus pre-warped, right?
If in theory, yeah.
Or does getting warped affect your chromosomes and stuff enough?
Or is it in his soul? And whenever you try to clone him, his soul goes into that body.
Right?
That's why Foe needs to like soul kill people with his biophage.
Exactly.
So
Anywho.
what I will say is Fabulous Bile does have a book where he clones Fulgrim uncorrupted
Uh-huh.
and then sells him to Trazen the Infinite and puts him in his like little museum.
Sells him to Trazen the Infinite. That's a good sentence. I like that. Dang. Fabulous Bile's a scary dude. Honestly, he is.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, very scary. I recently
For someone with like no superpowers, really?
I mean,
Right?
he's a space marine, so he's some level of superpowers compared to like people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did read one of his books because I've heard that he has a lot of really interesting books, and he is, as an Emperor's Children, a Slaneshi Chaos cultist, basically. But he doesn't
Okay.
believe that the Chaos Gods are gods. He believes that they're like. What does Loken say to Samus in this book? It's like, you're not a real intellect. Like we fight over this planet because it does matter, but you're just
Right.
like a self-perpetuating idea. That's why you can only scream your own goddamn name or whatever.
Right.
That is basically Fabulous Bile's.
It's his philosophy.
Yeah, for everything, for all of chaos. So he's like,
Hmm.
he has like friends and coworkers who are like demonologists that do all the demony shit because he doesn't believe that they're real. Like, so he doesn't like dirty his own hands with it. He just like works with other people who do, and that's fine.
Oh, that's interesting. That's one way to do it, I guess.
Yeah. Because he doesn't want to make deals with demons himself because he doesn't believe them.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Because that's how that works.
That's how that works.
All right. Well, good. Enough. We'll get
Enough.
more of him in the next book.
No, not fabulous. No,
Huh?
maybe a Bio. I don't think he's in the next book.
Oh.
But there will be more Loken, and the Emperor, and Horus, and Dawn, probably. And Vulcan,
Excellent.
probably.
And Vulcan, probably.
And Constantine Baldur, probably.
Yeah. And maybe finally Robert Gurleyman will show up. Good grief, he's been on his way for many, many words now.
Yep, don't get your hopes up, but yep.
Okie doke, you got it.
Alright.
I mean, it is a little bit weird that everybody's pretty fully convinced that Terra is done at this point, right? Like, both people on the side of the heretics and loyalists are like, well, Terra's over. Like, there's no recovering from this. And yet, in the 40Ks, it seems to be a thing. So, I'm curious to see how that goes.
Okay, so when they say everything's, like, Terra's dead,
Yeah.
I think what they really mean is that, like, the idea of the Imperium is dead as, like, what it is. And, like, because eventually, yes, Robert shows up They drive off all of the traders. Eventually, you get to a point where there are no traders on Terra, and they can start rebuilding. But they don't have like. You look surprised.
I just lost you for like 3 seconds.
Oh, where Gulliman comes, they drive off all the traders, and then there are no traders on Terra, and then
Okay.
you can start rebuilding. Like, there's nobody actively trying to kill you. You have your planet back, right?
Right, but there's all these lines about how the atmosphere is screwed up and how they've damaged it to the core of the world, and
Yep.
there's all this ecological damage
Uh huh.
to it that's
Uh huh.
not reversible.
Yep.
Okay, so that's all lies then, is what you're saying.
Uh,
They were wrong.
no, I don't know that they're lies. If there is never a moment where Terra becomes an ecumenopolis after this, where it's a planet with one city covering the entire surface. So there is no.
Coruscant.
Yeah, it's Coruscant, except
Yeah.
awful, where like the
Right.
air is poisonous. So they're not
Oh.
wrong.
Oh.
It's just
Okay.
people stick around anyway.
Okay. So Earth is done, but people are like Earth,
Earth.
so they stick around regardless.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Which again was the same as he's talking about. He's like, you guys are fighting over this stupid rock that doesn't mean anything more than any other rock in the whole universe, you idiots.
Except it
But
does.
you're all willing to murder each other over it. Yeah.
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 Yep.
Okie doke.
All right. Is that it? Is that it for the book?
That's it. That's all I have.
That's all I've got.
All right, sounds good. Thanks for hanging out for another edition of the Falcon Paladin Hour, streamed live here on twitch.tv/Somicron every Monday or Tuesday, depending where you are in the world.
Mm-hmm.
You can also find the VODs at youtube.com/@Somicron. They show up pretty fast after the podcast is done, so go over there and subscribe and leave comments and stuff. We'll read them.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
And support the podcast at patreon.com/Somicron and by buying merch at falconpaladin.store. So for another week, thanks for hanging out. We'll catch you next time, and you take care of yourself.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.